Hi, what's up, guys? And we are with a special guest for this episode. We're with with our very own guest analyst back on Austria in the house. Thanks, Bax,
Sure.
for accepting our invitation to join us for our game reaction slash analysis about Game 1 of the UAP Finals between UP and LaSalle. So as you know, syempre nanalo ang UP kahapon. And it was the first time that UP was playing LaSalle with a complete lineup. So very quickly, kung ano yung mga initial thoughts nyo about that game?
Sige. Ako na lang muna.
Yeah, go lang.
So for me, yung UP was what I expected nangyari kasi usually yung first two rounds si Coach Gold was using a lot of players. Grabe siya mag-ikot. Yesterday, lalo na second half, saktong-sakto yung gamit niya ng tao. QMB went to the bench, a couple of minutes rest, tas balik ka agad. Unlike before, parang nag-iikot siya ng tatlong sentro or lahat nagagamit. And then, like what everyone was looking for sa UP, parang everyone chipped in. Everyone was, like, yung sobrang stack nila eh. Tapos lahat ng pinasok nag-contribute in a certain way. Tapos sa Lasal naman, I think they just have to find ways to get KQ going. Naging stagnant siya nung second half eh. So I'm sure with Coach Topex. Last year, UP won also, di ba, first game?
Yeah.
Four straight
So,
seasons.
yeah. So, yun. Magandang adjustment. Game of chess. Short series, pero maganda. I'm sure, ang tatalino ng coaches ng Lasal eh. Halos lahat ng nakaupo doon, experienced coaches. So, let's see adjustments sila sa second round.
Ikaw, Nico,
Well,
ano ba napansin mo sa game?
well, for me naman, on the side of UP, it's more of I think I was saying this in other episodes na they were able to make KQ just a scorer na wala yung what the other half that makes him a special player, which is him facilitating, 'di ba? That's what makes KQ a special player. This is the reason why he's part of the Gilas lineup. It's because of how in a way he's a one of one. He's a unicorn by our standards dito sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? So sa second half, yung mentality niya is I'm gonna keep on scoring kasi ang ganda ng first half ko eh. And he tried to do that. He tried to shoot himself back into the game. Pero wala, he was making contested jump shots, yung mga step back na well guarded. He didn't get to make a field goal in the second half. And he was really checked by a rookie named Jacob Baila. And si Baila naman, I think more on UP na I think he deserves a start back in the starting lineup, di ba? Considering with the way he played, maybe to set the tone and see if to test if LaSalle was able to make any changes dun sa ginawang defensive schemes on their best player, their MVP. And then last one, grabe, to just double down, kung sabi ni Kuya Bax na si QMB, like, ngayon ko lang siya nakita na maglaro ng ganyan na diretso sa post, he's gonna impose his will. Kasi sa first two rounds, di natin nakikita yan eh. Mostly ang ginagawa lang ni QMB, di ba, has this, ang reklamo natin, why does he only have 4 to 5 attempts per game? Pero dito, he was imposing his will. They're gonna dump the ball to him and talagang binabackdown niya si Mike. And in a way, nalabanan niya si Mike and I think he won that matchup yesterday in game 1.
Honestly, what I saw yesterday from QMB, it was very different QMB from what I saw from the rest of the season. Medyo pa yung pagka Greg Slaughter siya gumalaw, no? Bax, would you agree?
Nakikita ko yung sinasabi mo, lalo na sa UAAP. Though mas aggressive si QMB. Layo nung kay Greg. Though
Oo
nakikita ko
nga.
yung sabi, parang may mannerism sa post na pag
Di ba?
pumunta eh. Pero
Ano to mannerisms na to? Ano to? Ano to?
I don't know, pero nagigets ko yung sabi ni Javi. Nagigets ko yung sabi ni Javi. Um, Hindi ko ma-explain pero nagigets ko eh. Alam mo yon, parang nakikita ko eh. Pero grabe si QMB. First time ata the whole season. And the one good thing was the players were looking for him. Parang four straight possessions post. At saka sino lang ba nakakashoot kay Motor Mike ng ganong bangga-bangga?
Exactly.
Mm.
Walang nakakashoot sa UAAP ng ganon si
He
QMB
played the best game
kahapon.
of this entire UAP season by far.
Yeah.
And talagang hinanap nga talaga siya ng mga players ng UP. Pero what about KQ getting shut down by Baila in the second half? He was nag-explode talaga siya nung first half. As in, lahat ng mga tira niya talagang wild pumapasok. And initially, UP put Raylan Torres on him. But that didn't work. But when Bailak came on him on the second half, wala na nagawa. I mean, he tried to shoot himself out of it, but he wasn't able to do the things that he usually did. He really resorted to things that he wasn't used to doing.
Um, nung third quarter, parang it started actually na KQ was actually looking for his teammates. Pero give credit to UP dahil talagang dinideny siya hanggang dulo. Maybe it's a ploy si Torres muna para pagurin siya. And then si Baila came in and he came in na he wanted to play defense. Usually sa scorer, not a non-defender. Pero kita mo sa mga mata niya how he picked up KQ. He accepted the challenge. Talagang hanggang half court. Yung isa pa nga naagawan niya but nakuha lang ni KQ tapos binato like shot clock violation. Do you remember that possession?
Yeah.
So he came in there na then when it started na medyo nala-lockdown na siya. Now he started yanking up threes. Step back, step back. And ang hirap rin pag nandun si QMB sa loob. Tapos you try to attack. Tapos there's a QMB inside. There's a Francis Lopez trying to chase down every shot. So, ang hirap rin when UP's at their best eh. 'Di ba? You have Baila, sometimes Francis Lopez, QMB in the middle. Tapos yun, grabe yung length rin ng UP talaga.
Tapos, among the other players who really stood out, I think JD Kagulangan was very good yesterday. Kasi ang sinasabi natin, Nico, sa past episodes that when you make JD Kagulangan a scorer, patay ang UP. But yesterday, I think he was a perfect balance of being a scorer and a facilitator.
Actually, perfect balance nga talaga kahapon, di ba? 12 points, 5 assists. He just knew what he was doing. Ang ganda ng pressure niya sa defense. That's why the guards of LaSalle never got it going. I'm not saying that's all JD, pero ang laki ng impluensya niya dun. And the reason why David arguably had his worst game this year sa season na to as well, 'di ba? Parang I think 1 for 5 lang, 2 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, walang tres. Same for Makalalag na 24 minutes na wala ring nagawa. Na in terms of points production, grabe talaga yung defense ng UP, doon tayo babalik, no? And kailangan ng special shoutout dito kay Francis Lopez kasi siya yung reason bakit ang third quarter yung pressure ng UP, LaSalle couldn't find an answer for him. Like, okay, andyan na nga si Q sa poste, wala, hindi nyo magawa ng solusyon. Tapos from the wing, Lopez keeps on attacking. Hindi siya nagsasettle for jumpers. At yung sinasabi natin, di ba, na Lopez needs to repeat what he did against that UST game and replicate it against LaSalle in order to have a chance, which he did. Hindi siya nagsettle sa jumpers and just kept on getting fouled a lot. I think that's why UP also had 23 free throws compared to 11 of LaSalle. Is more of they were the more aggressive team. Kaya I think they just checked all the boxes with regards to making a statement sa game 1.
Yeah, that's correct. 17 out of 23 from the free throw line ng UP, and LaSalle was only 9 out of 11, although better percentage, but that's a minus 12 in terms of attempts. And that really underscores the fact that UP was more aggressive against the LaSalle defense. But going back to the first two games that UP went against LaSalle, aside from the fact na wala nga si JD Kagulangan tsaka si QMB in separate games during the elimination round, what do you think the UP also did better in this game aside from QMB and JD Kagulangan having great games? Their defense was impressive. Francis Lopez was his usual aggressive self. How about the other guys? Who do you think was very beneficial for them yesterday?
Actually, yung nakakatakot sa UP, hindi pa gumawa si Alarcon.
Oo nga,
Who can
tama.
They
score
didn't
like
even have to use him a lot.
diba?
Oo
May
nga.
clutch free throw siya. So, Fortea wala pa. There were games na Fortea was the one making threes. So, hindi ko alam kung sino yung nag-benefit is yung buong UP team. Kasi sobrang daming players eh. Di ba? Like, pero lahat ng pinasok nag-contribute. When Abadiano came in sa dulo, made a three-pointer, made a jump shot. Pagpasok ni Francis Lopez, which I mentioned also sa podcast ko. Grabe yung Francis Lopez, binuhat niya rin yung third quarter na yon. Kasi it was bakbakan, dikit yun eh. Tapos sinasagot niya lang na sinasagot rin. We saw a little of Steven sa second half, parang hindi na ata pinasok or pinasok ba quick.
Yeah,
Even
3 minutes and
uh,
24.
super nung first half siya pinasok eh. So, Coach Gold nag-cut short rin ng rotation pero parang very distinct yung roles nila nung game 1. The players knew when to shoot the ball. Pagkuha nila, alam nilang panira nila sa kanila. JD knows, knew what when to shoot that ball, when to... Gaganda rin ang pasa ni JD, yung kala mo maagaw tapos
Yun na nga eh.
yung pinasa kay
Saktong-sakto.
QMP
Sakto-sakto.
tapos yeah, tapos foul counted. I think UP just pressed all the right buttons yesterday, lalo na nung second half.
Would you agree that everything that Coach Gold did during the season was very well calculated up to this point na talagang ngayon yun na lang talaga nilabas lahat ng baraha niya? Kumbaga parang for me the substitution pattern in particular was very unpredictable throughout the whole elimination round and maybe even in the final four against UST. But here he stuck with the short rotation. Although he was still able to play 12 guys, but in the second half he cut down that rotation to I think 7 or 8 guys na lang. But do you think that talagang there is mystique to how Coach Gold works the sidelines?
I think there was some criticism last finals na bakit nakiksplit ng minutes si JD at si ano tawag dito si what do
Felicilda.
you yeah Felicito, there were some minutes complaints from people na especially from the UP side na bakit ganito lang minutes si CJ Cancino, bakit ganito lang minutes si ano ni ganyan and so on, but this time to ngayong game 1 very clear na 35 minutes si JD if you round up, no, same for QMB, very clear na we're gonna stick with our best guys. Let's not try to be cute kasi sinong papalaro natin. Wala tayong pake sa feelings at this point. Everybody knows lahat naman tayong veterano dito. And I think that's what made UP successful here in game 1. It's a question kung paano na sa game 2 how it's going to be na okay, when you get punched back by Lasal, will you still stick to this? Kaya nyo pa rin ba na ano, or will you try to break off from what made you successful in game 1 and maybe go off course? So yun yung mga o-observe natin for game 2, 'di ba? But for game 1 in a way, hindi naman sa flawless, but they played amazing basketball. They made Lasal commit 18 turnovers compared to just the 15 assists na meron sa DLSU. So, both offense and defense locked in ang UP eh. That's why nakakatuwa panoodin as a fan of the league just in general.
Agree ako. I think last year, remember, nung game 3, it was Felicildo who finished the game. Parang last a couple of minutes. It wasn't
Yes, exactly.
kagulangan. And grabe yung issue na yun.
'Di ba?
Di ba? There were issues about kasi bata ni Coach Gold from high school pa lang sila Felicilda, like Abadiano, those guys. And parang we all know JD. JD's the guy. Parang kahit ako medyo na-question ko yun in my mind na baka injured or bakit ganun. Although he was missing shots nung game 3 na yon. Pero yes, nung eliminations and Final Four, ako rin nawiwirdohan sa sub. Pero you have to feed everyone's ego eh. When you have a strong team like this na blue chip yung mga rookies, you do not promise playing time pero they know that they need that playing time. Alam mo yon, parang hindi ka makukuha ng 5-star recruit tas gagamitin mo lang ng 2 minutes eh. Next season wala na yun sa'yo.
Ganun
Mahirap.
na yung UP ngayon. Tama, tama.
Good problem yung kay Coach Gold kasi ang dami mong players na pwedeng gamitin. Mahirap yung wala kang players na gagamitin. Um, and now siguro finals na. I think they learned their lesson. The veterans know na pag pinasok ako, ready ako. Pag hindi, hindi. Masakit yung natalo ako last year. So pag si Felicildo, pag ginamit ako 5 minutes lang pero panalo, okay ako. Maybe same with the other guys. With Francis Lopez, with Abadiano, even Fortea. Fortea was cheering. Alam niyo si Fortea, microwave. He needs a lot of minutes, a lot of shots. Pero yesterday, he was cheering nung dulo. So I think maturity will come into play ngayon for I think the players and even Coach Gold siguro. Parang last year was a testament na mahirap yung ikot ka lang rin ng ikot. Siguro now nakita niya na how to use his players better.
Oh, kasi nung game 1 na yan, he only had 8 players playing at least 11 minutes or more than 10 minutes actually. Torres, Alarcon, Baila, Torculas, Abadiano, Lopez, Kagulangan, and QMB. I mentioned Torkulas. This guy was out of the picture for the past few games, except for yesterday. He was really ready to play yesterday, and I heard that medyo na-disappoint kasi si Coach Gold sa naging mga performances ni Torkulas before he started to bench him kasi he's been giving him the opportunity, but even in practice, I don't think he's been delivering also. The same goes for Mark Belmonte na di niya ginamit kahapon. But these two guys had spurts of brilliance during the elimination round and were responsible for a lot of the wins for UP. But yesterday, si Torculas ginamit siya and he delivered. 7 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds in 14 minutes of play. Very efficient, 2 out of 4. And he was a +8 on the floor.
I think perfect kasi like we mentioned, nag-cut short si Coach Gold ng rotation, and I think he gave that minutes kay Torculas. Usually will split that 14 minutes pa kay Torculas at saka kay Belmonte, di ba? So, pumili na lang siguro si Coach Gold that yesterday. And actually, either or bagay to play defense against KQ. Or not just KQ, pero against Lasal. Dahil ang haba ng players ng UP eh. Athletic and long. So, sometimes you see Lasal also, pero nung dulo hindi na masyado. Nagti-three bigs rin yung Lasal kasi. Di ba? Si how do you pronounce it? Aguane.
Agonan.
Agunan.
Agurane.
Agonan.
And Motor Mike tapos si KQ. Tapos si Motor Mike pa yung nagpe-press sa tuktok. Nakakainis, di ba? Ang laki-laki nga agawan ka ng bola. Pag point guard ka, may inis ka doon. Sentro yung umaagaw sa'yo, tapos dadangan ka. Pero, so that's why you need guys also like Torculas. Tapos, iba yung confidence ng Torculas eh, and yung energy na nabibigay. For me, yung energy-wise, yung hustle, nakaka-shoot pa, nakaka-3 points. So, laki ng upside, tsaka laki ng tulong.
Okay, so let's move on from UP a bit. Sa Lasal naman, who are the guys who you think na nagkulang talaga kahapon? Was it really the whole team or was it a few players in particular?
It was the whole team, pero na-mention ni Nico si Joshua
David,
David.
yeah. Joshua
Tapos
David, yeah.
pinams pa siya, di ba, towards the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, malaking factor yun sa Lasal. He was a guy who stabilizes the team. Usually, KQ gets the ball, pero siya naman talaga yung nagdadala si David. Makes those corner threes. Pag kick out ni KQ, didn't make a three. Tama ba? Didn't make a three-pointer yesterday?
Yeah. 0 out of 3
So,
yesterday.
usually makes those 1, 2, 3-pointers pagka medyo dinodouble si KQ tapos makakashoot siya. So, remember last year, game 2, I think it was Francis Escandor who made
Yeah.
those 3-pointers tapos kaya nanalo yung UP, tinambakan din ng Lasal yung UP second game. So, they need to make 3-pointers as well. If you have, like I mentioned, you have a guy like UMB in the middle and then guys like Lopez and Baela, Torculas trying to block that shot inside. So, you have to make threes as well.
Do you think there's a problem if it's KQ taking the brunt of those 3-point attempts? They were 6 out of 26 as a team. KQ was 2 out of 10.
Yes and no. He's your best player. Though there are times actually, personal ano ko to, I think he's taking a lot more than gusto ko na tumira siya. Sometimes. Pero he's KQ eh. So parang may leeway ka to. Alam mo yun, parang kunwari hindi si KQ yun, parang bad shot. Pero si KQ, sige, pwede na. Gets you ba yung, I think if you're a coach, you're gonna understand it more. And there are certain players na kahit bad shot yan, good shot dapat. Kahit dalawa tao mo, okay lang itira mo kasi ikaw best player namin. Um, and the guards kasi bumabantay kay KQ eh. So, in your mind, baka pwedeng sa loob. So, baka that's yung no part naman. But if you're the best player in the team, kahit sa half-court ka tumira minsan, good save ako. Alam mo yun, parang he was making those shots rin minsan eh. Though ang kay KQ, there were games like yung UST game when they lost. NU game when they lost. He was yanking up a lot of threes also. Tapos di rin na-shoot. Parang wala makashoot ng 3 points nun eh. Sa UST yung game against NU. So, it's one game pa lang naman. So, baka mamaya maka 60 pointers siya sa second game. Diba? So, we never know. We never know.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Topex naman did emphasize that after the game, dun sa press conference, that this is a series and they will try to learn from their mistakes here. But ikaw, Nico, anong sa tingin mong mistakes yung kailangan talaga nilang pagtutukan na talagang kailangan nila i-improve come into game two? Because this is just a three-game series. And the problem with the three-game series, with a series this short, is if one team wins game one, then momentum is definitely on their side in game two. So it's win or go home for the other squad.
Yeah, for me, I was able to nakausap ko before si Mike, not after ng game 1, no, but I was able to speak to him before start ng Final Four. And lagi niya in-emphasize yung what makes Lasal Lasal is the ball movement. They really what makes them the Green Archers is finding the best shot possible. Hindi daw good shot, they always want a great shot. Hindi nangyari yun ng game 1, 'di ba? Nawala yun. And I think that was because yun nga, just because nakita nila yung superstar nila na is making his shots in the first half and EJ Goliana as well, 'di ba? It was 18 points from KQ, then naka-11 si EJ. I think unconsciously they were like, let's ride the hot hand. Tapos, yung second half, I think too late na-realize na, shit, wala na yung hot hand. Tapos, disengage na yung mga player. That's not saying na wala na silang gana sa laro, but more of they couldn't find their flow because it was too late na in the game wherein UP was had on a run. Napaparating na nga kayo dun. You couldn't find your offensive flow. Tapos yung defense pa ng UP suffocating. Nakikita mo na hihirapan yung MVP mo. So in a way that gets to your head. So that's something that they need to start pa lang sa like the very first quarter for game 2. Prioritize yung getting the ball. Na it doesn't matter if KQ just has 2 shots in the first quarter or in the first half as long as, di ba, everybody eats. So, I think that's how we win game 2 if na-emphasize nila yun. If maayos nga nila yung issue na yun.
Yeah, you're talking about the assists, 15
They're number
assists.
one in assists. They're number
Yeah.
one in assists.
And I think they averaged more than 15. They only had 15 yesterday, plus the turnovers that you
18
guys already
turnovers
mentioned,
pa.
18 turnovers. That's just not really gonna cut it for them. Last year ba, ano ang naging response ng Lasal when they lost game 1 and then came back in game 2?
From what I remember yun, they made a lot more three-pointers. Iskandar had like 4 or 5. The defense was, yung level ng defense nila was more intense. Naalala ko, tapos medyo soft yung UP nung second game eh. Came in a step slower yung UP nung game 2. Tambak rin natin yung game 2 eh. Palitan natin sila ng tambak
Palitan
nun eh.
sila ng tambak. Palitan sila
Nung
ng
game 1
tambak.
and game 2. Pero if you're rooting for Lasal, parang yes, since last game medyo panic button, pero hindi naman kailangan sobra. You were leading pa until the start of the third quarter.
Yes.
Last 3 minutes down 4, nag-run pa sila. Yes, you have to find ways to get KQ open siguro. Mas magaling coaches na ayaw mag-suggest ng whatever play they could do. They will figure it out. Pero hindi lang pwede nasa taas siya tapos dribble. Di ba? Naubos yung shot clock eh. Nung dulo nakita natin yun. That's why he was yanking up threes also. Kasi paubos na yung shot clock eh. Parang wala na siya masyadong choice. So, definitely there should be adjustments. Pero hindi naman dapat sobrang kabahan ka dahil the game wasn't a blowout. They were leading until the third quarter. Konting adjustments and syempre if you're rooting for Lasal, gusto mong makita ng lamangan mo kaagad ng medyo malaki para medyo safe. And hopefully parang last year game 2, parang they took out the game early eh. Parang tapos na kaagad dahil tinambakan kaagad nila.
Do you think that from a different perspective, would you think that this might actually be a game that Lasal really should have lost to somehow wake them up that, teka lang, yung UP full strength na sila. Hindi na to yung team na kinalaban natin nung elimination round in the first game and in the second game. Now they have Kagulangan and QMB back in the fold. And right now, this is a full strength team. This is much a different squad than what we're used to taking up. Do you think that this was really a game that they should have lost?
Ang hirap sabihin na you should have lost in the finals eh. Usually it happens sa earlier rounds or sa second round. Ang hirap nang sabihin na they should have lost it sa finals kasi it's a finals. One good thing it's a series. Though it's short. Pero wala, ganun talaga. You can't just sulk and stay in that game. You have to move forward right away. So super short series. In 2 days you're gonna play again. Could be your last if you don't show up. So yung mga ganyan bagay, you have to throw it right away sa window or out of the window and then just play. You adjust, you do things na you feel like it's gonna work for you tapos you play. Wala nang mga like alam ko marami ba superstition, mga ganyan, mga whatever pero pagdating sa finals, knockout game wala na. You just have to come and play.
So having said that, do you think that it's gonna finish on Wednesday, the series?
For me, hindi. Hindi pa. Feel ko wasted to game 3. Kasi ano in a way, Lasal was caught by surprise no game 1 because yun nga, diba, it's the first time seeing a QMB JD. And going back to sinabi ni Kuya Box na how great the coaching staff are of both schools. Imposible na walang counter mga yan. Sa nakita na sa game 1, na they're working day and night heading into Wednesday. So, I feel like Lasal will have a solution dun sa nangyari sa game 1 and then free for all na sa game 3 na ako alam nabasa lahat ng baraha eh. So, yun na yung I feel like maabot tayo ng game 3 sa Araneta.
Yeah, as a basketball fan,
Um,
I would love to have a game 3.
That's our game 7 eh. We love game 7s.
Same. Gusto ko lang manood ng game 3.
Ako rin, walang gusto ko ng game 3. Yun lang talaga yun. Speaking as fans, nothing against UP ah. Gusto lang namin ng game 3. Si Javi taga UP yan, pero gusto rin ng game 3.
Hindi, pero honestly, kung as a UP fan, speaking as a UP fan,
Okay,
not,
from the
not,
heart, from the
not-
heart, from
from
the
the
heart.
heart, not being objective here, feel ko talagang delikado kami kung mag-game 3 pa eh. I mean,
Okay,
obviously,
gets
this is a
naman.
best of 3
Gets.
series. So whoever wins
Okay.
game 2 has the momentum. And that's really going to be scary para sa kanila.
So,
Okay.
yan, ang hirap manalo ng game 3 if you lost sa game 2.
Yeah.
Yan, yan.
Kayo yung dehado eh, no? Tapos babalik sa past memories mo na, shit, ito na naman tayo.
Oh,
Di ba?
oh. But I think what was also impressive for UP yesterday was at least, they had a pretty good start in the first few minutes, although the bad habits were showing a bit middle or towards the end of the first quarter. But then they were able to ramp it up and adjust towards the second quarter, especially in the third quarter and in the fourth. So I think that's something that they can build on coming into game 2. Kasi ang hirap kung ibalik na naman nila yung throughout the elimination round, it was mostly bad starts. And, it's been a habit for them since last year na they're gonna let their opponents have good starts. They won't adjust till maybe like the second half. They'll use the third quarter and the fourth quarter to try and catch up.
Tama nga naman.
Okay, I mean, in game 2, that's gonna happen on Wednesday. Do you expect the same performance from QMB and JD Kagulangan? Or do you think that Coach Gold might try to switch it up a bit, maybe set up some plays for other guys, put the focus of the offense on the shooters like Alarcon, Torres, and Fortea?
For me, as long as hindi nila masolusyonan yung QMB sa post, I'm not gonna stop going to the post. I think JD Kagulangan has been composed in his 11 years in the UAAP. Sobrang veterano no? Sobrang kuwang-kuha niya na Parang, sige, dribble muna ako dito.
Parang
Tira.
bagal lang laro para sa kanya
Ang
no?
bagal siguro. Ito yung pwesto ko,
Oo.
step back ako dito,
Diba?
papasok yung spot ko
Parang
eh.
siya ng 11-year vet sa pro Yung pag nasa pro, alam mo yung controlled na. So, I hope he doesn't change it until Lasal figures it out. Parang minsan na yung problema ng ibang coaches. So lalo sa lower level, they change what's working. Parang, sige, ito naman. Like I told you, yung egos, you have to throw it aside sa finals. I've been to teams where there were a lot more star players sa San Miguel before. I've seen the veterans step back na, no, it's not for me, it's for you. Kahit di ako maglalaro, magcha-champion tayo. So, share ko lang konti, when Junmar was there, until hindi ma-stop si Junmar, hindi tayo aalis kay Junmar. Parang people will say,
As
ba
it
yan,
should
puro
be.
Junmar?
As it
Ano ba
should
yan,
be.
puro championship rin.
Oo.
Kaya hindi mo
Di ba?
champion, di ba? Parang ganun So, just just stick to what's working. Pag nakuha ng Lasal yung ginagawa, then you change. Like what Lasal is doing. This thing didn't work last game. Now I'm changing. I'm looking for a solution to our problem. I think basketball is complicated, but it could be simple as well. It's ironic, but it's true. So, sobrang simple nung ginawa ni QMB. Post up, bang bodies, shoot, di ba? Like three straight. Tapos, JD naman, biglang 3 points. JD will set up. Francis was there. So, as long as it's working, I feel like, and I think Coach Gold knows it. He's been there for the longest time. He has a lot of assistant coaches sa bench. I think they're gonna do the same thing until Lasal checks them.
But for you, Bak, you've been to the finals how many times in your UAP career? 5 times, diba? 5?
Sa college, 4 times. 4 or 5.
4 times.
Yeah.
How has the UAP changed since then? The players, the game, and the coaching.
Yung allowances ng players, na joke lang.
Real talk real talk lang.
Uh, it changed a lot na mas mabilis. Mas mabilis yung game now. A lot more three-pointers. Pero somehow like what QMB did, it was what we did before with going to Greg. Na-mention mo nga, going to Raba, post plays looking for the mismatch. It's still this, it's faster in a way, pero makikita mo very yung UP nung that game, they were looking for the mismatch talaga. Francis had the mismatch sa wings, he keeps attacking. Parang cycle rin yung basketball eh. Sometimes sige, nauso yung puro 3 points, puro 3 points. Pero sa big games, ang laking bagay na 3 points. Pero once you check the 3-pointer, tapos hindi ka nag-inside game, hirap na hirap ka talaga. So it's a mix of both talaga parate. Coaching style, ayun nga, medyo mas marami ng 3-pointer. We see it in the NBA, we're applying it. Everyone can make threes now. Dati medyo yung 4-5, halos hindi pa tumitira ng 3 points yan. Like a decade ago. Now, parang kukonti na lang yung hindi nakaka-shoot, yung hindi tumitira ng 3-pointer. Pero the game changed, pero yung intensity, yung because of the rivalry, because of the fans, because of yung what's at stake, yung same energy pa rin yung nakikita ko eh. Bakbakan pa rin. That's why you love the UAAP actually. When you go to the pros, iba na yung level. Iba yung motivation, iba yung level. Yung school spirit, iba yung nadadala. So, a lot of things are the same. Yes, there are changes, pero how you fight for your school, how you fight to win, halos the same pa rin yung intensity and yung spirit that it gives off.
But Max, how do you feel naman about now that the rivalry between UP and LaSalle is now shifting much more attention to themselves rather than the Ateneo LaSalle rivalry?
Walang rivalry at Ateneo ngayon. Real talk lang, pag nasa 8th place ka, ang hirap, di ba? You're in the last place. It's been years eh. I mentioned sa podcast ko, the last time Ateneo Lasal was a real rivalry, nangyari siya actually when konti kila 30, Embala. Pero before that, it was maybe the Chris Chu Championship, yung peak nun. Tapos, there wasn't really a real rivalry between Ateneo and Lasal until yung kaila 30 ulit konti. It was either Ateneo was on top, Lasal wasn't making Final Four. Ngayon, baliktad. Lasal on top, Ateneo didn't make Final Four. So, they deserve it. Both teams, we all know, had great off seasons in terms of recruits. Well supported. Alam mong gusto manalo talaga. I'm not saying Ateneo is not well supported. Grabe pa rin support ng management ng Ateneo. The results just didn't show up. They lost key players, but it's not an excuse. Parang you don't give excuses when an MVP is backing you up, di ba? Those guys doesn't accept excuses. And I agree with them. They support you. They shell out their own money. Tapos walang performance. And then, yeah, in terms of rivalry, that's good for the community. That's good for the UAP. I love watching UP LaSalle actually. Hindi naman porket sa Ateneo ako, Ateneo lang dapat pinapanood. I love basketball in general. And itong rivalry iba eh. Kasi like last year, UP was supposed to win, di ba? Parang sila yung after winning game man, wala na, tapos nanalo pa Lasal. It's just good to have that kind of healthy for the tournament, healthy for the UAAP. Whatever rivalry it is. Tapos yung UST now, medyo lumalakas na rin. Medyo nagkakaroon rin ng good players with the backing of SMC. So it's good. It's good. It's good for the league.
What do you think was the reason why a lot of Ateneo players suddenly jumped ship, particularly Mason Amos, but there were also other guys who opted to go pro early. But you mentioned that this is still a school with great support coming from MVP and the other alumni. Pero bakit sa tingin mo biglang ganun? I mean, this is still a champion school with a great legacy and it's a top school academically in the Philippines. Bakit biglang nagsisialisan yung mga players?
Minention mo, hirap ng aral eh. Sigurado
Hirap
rin.
na.
Uh,
Grades talaga eh.
I don't really know yung reason ni Mason. There's a lot of rumors. Wala tayong proof sa rumors nila. Pero if you move from one school to another with a great support system, speaks volumes rin sa nangyayari around you and sa player mismo. So it's either or. It's either the player doesn't really want it there in the first place, or ang weird eh. Kasi he recruited Jared Bahay, di ba? Sa
Yeah.
G Live. Tapos he left. Pero gusto niya yun eh. He has his reasons. We don't have any proof of those rumors or anything. Kaya ang hirap rin to say something about it. If you don't have any proof, wala kang puro chismis lang. Um, Sayang kasi Mason could have helped Ateneo but also family decision. I heard it's a family decision. So we respect that. Masakit for Ateneo fans, masakit for Ateneans kasi Mason, I coached Mason. I was the manager when Mason came into high school with Francis
Oh,
Lopez. Hindi lang siya nakalaro dahil na homesick. So he went back home. And then, yun, went back to Ateneo. So, natuwa ulit kami. Tapos ngayon, iniwan ulit. So, for some people, medyo roller coaster. Pero mabait na bata naman si Mason. Um, Magaling, mabait. Pero that's how life is. Life is. Minsan talaga, there are unexpected turns. And for Ateneo, you have to move on. And like, build on Bahay, build on Porter, build on the guys that you have. You can't do anything anymore. Eh. Wala na eh. Wala na yung guy you were looking at. Tapos, kailangan mo na lang you have to just move on and just start rebuilding, start improving. Kasi kung hindi, if you're gonna stick to Mason, wala. You won't, you won't move on from where you are right now.
Doon sa bolang kristal mo ba, Bakon, nakikita mo ba yung mga championship na nakuha nyo nung time mo na makukuha rin ni Bahay tsaka ni Porter?
Hirap yun.
hirap yun. Sobrang hirap nun.
Hirap yun.
Hirap na ngayon.
We were lucky. We were lucky. Yung kaka-upload ko lang, I talked about the 4 championships pinadaanan ko sa podcast ko. High school, 2 sa high school, 4 sa college. Dinaanan ko lang. Yung bridging, yung three-peat was crazy. Ayun, wala talaga kaming, parang every game was different best player. Hindi kagaya ngayon, Lasal, KQ.
Mike
Hindi kami
Phillips.
parang
KQ,
UP
Mike
na
Phillips.
iba-ibang Hindi kami parang UP na iba-ibang best player. Kami
Ibang
yung mga
klase.
hindi nag-best player ng year before. Wala, kailangan mo mag-best player para manalo. Parang, gets nyo? Parang ganun eh. Parang, could be Eman, could be Justin who didn't play the year before, could be Frank, could be Eric, could be Ryan. So, swear, it comes with luck also. Yung 4 pit, 5 pit yun eh. Wala ako sa fifth eh. Good recruitment, good pipeline. Importante yan. And maybe it was easier before kasi now players jump ship quickly and also there's a threat to go abroad. And you can't blame those guys who wants to go abroad. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's for their future and for the betterment of the development of the basketball players. You earn $1 million a month. How much when you go abroad? At least
Yeah, around
500,
At
500,000
least.
a million.
750. That's
At
the least.
least.
Parang
At least.
the landscape has changed. Ito yung what changed sa college basketball. Sorry, medyo off topic pero quick lang to.
Gusto namin
Um,
itong life lessons. Mga
the
ganyan.
Hindi,
life
okay lang.
the landscape has changed sa UAP eh. Nagulat nga ako KQ stayed. Connect to Lasal. They said mga rumors they paid him good. That's why he stayed, which he deserves. Kasi he could have gotten more abroad.
Yeah.
Um, pero now, when you build a program now, hindi ka sure kung yung kukunin mo na best player ngayon nandun pa next year. Because he could go to B-League. He could turn pro right away. That's what happened to Ateneo as well. Balungay, Jared Brown
Mga
went.
nag-pro na.
So, if you're looking for a guy who would be in the future, you're never sure. Baka umalis na siya ng second year, third year. Dati, walang nagaganon. Dati, sasagarin yung 5 years eh. So, when I get this guy, he's gonna play 5 years for me, 4 years for me. Ngayon, I'm gonna get this guy, Ron J, left after 2 years. Diba? So, ang hirap ngayon rin talaga to build the program. So, pwedeng you get 4 good recruits. Yung dalawa doon biglang wala na sa third year.
Wala.
How can you win 4 championships, 5? Yung pinaplano mong 4 or 5, wala na yung dalawang best player. So anyway, I don't wanna like take this time. Pero ang hirap now. Ang hirap now to have a program like that.
Yeah, dynasty is really so hard to come by in this era of college basketball dahil nga doon sa sinabi mo. Well, si KQ nga, he's been rumored pa lang naman, wala pa raw confirmation that he will go to Korea already next year. Kayo ba? Tingin nyo, lilipat na ba talaga siya next year? Especially if they win this year. Do you think that he might that there might be a chance that he might actually still stay? Because if he does stay when they win, so when they win, he wins. He already won back-to-back MVPs. If they win, they will win back-to-back UAP championships. Next year, if he stays, he has a chance to win 3 straight UAP titles and a third straight MVP. Nobody has won 3 MVPs in the UAP except for Benji Paras.
Ako feel ko talaga he's gonna leave regardless. And there's nothing much to prove na for KQ. I mean, kay Carl Tamayo nga, when he won his rookie year, dapat nga umalis na siya eh. Kasi parang, mission accomplished ka na eh. At this point kasi parang, hindi na masyado nagmamatter yung mga dynasties sa mga bata, which I feel like sa kanila, they get the thing that they want, which is the championship, and I think they can bolt already. Assuming na yung talent nila at may skill level plus yung interest, diba? If all aligns, then you can leave na eh. You cannot, at this point talaga, they're well aware na they really need to maximize their career as a basketball player. You'll never know that an injury might come here and there. Next thing you know, you cannot earn the same potential money that you've been earning, which you hope to receive, diba? So I feel like regardless, KQ's gonna leave. Like, this is just my opinion. Kung totoo man yung mga KBL rumors, I think for him it's time to earn na for his family. May anak na nga, may
Yeah.
anak na siya. So I feel like he needs to get the bag and earn as much for his family.
Um, KQ should play abroad already. Para gumaling rin siya. You
Mm.
saw Carl Tamayo sa window. Yes, nahirapan si Carl Tamayo nung start. Pero ang dali na ng basketball kay KQ eh. Parang you should go next level. That's what I think he should do. Pero I won't be surprised if he stays. Yung nagkaanak siya could be two things. Number one, para nga kumita siya more. But number two, if you have a newborn child, ang hirap rin. Older players were telling me kasi like I know sila Jason Castro, they were offers talaga from China. Some older players. If you have a family here, parang hirap rin iiwan. So it could work both ways. Some would want to go abroad to earn more. But if you're KQ earning, I don't know how much KQ is earning right now, pero he's playing for LaSalle. The only way for him to stay here maybe was for them to pay him big, to be honest. Um, he's playing Ligang Labas. During UAAP, it's crazy. Uh, Bumibiyahe pa siya, so he's earning there. I'm sure maraming Lasal alumni are crazy also. I'm sure they're supporting him some way or the other. I'm sure they're very generous. I heard about Lasal alumni. Kudos to them. They really take care of you rin raw pagka like when you play like this. So yes, I think I want him to leave kasi he deserves and he needs to showcase his talent abroad. He will grow there. But I won't be surprised if he stays, especially Baklan is coming in, best friend
Best friend
niya.
niya. Oh.
Then you have Jacob and Mason coming in.
Yeah.
So, grabe rin. I don't know. Time will tell, pero still a 50-50 for me kay KQ, to be honest. Still a 50-50.
So do you guys think that maybe Filipino players, especially Filipino collegiate players, should now kind of follow the formula in the States na 1 to 2 years na naglalaro ng college, tas pro na agad? Do you think that it's gonna be good for Filipino basketball in general? I mean, it's bad for the UAP and the NCAA and all the other collegiate leagues, but like for Filipino basketball in general, like for the national team also and the PBA, do you think that it will be beneficial for us if they take that kind of route, play 1 to 2 years of collegiate basketball, especially kung naglaro na sila and they played and they've won a championship in the UAP or the NCAA? Do you think that's gonna be good for us?
Ako feel ko, oo. Kasi basta magaling kang player, huwag ka aalis ng 1 to 2 years, wala ka pa napapatunayan, hindi wala kang magda-draft sa'yo, di mahirapan ka lang sa route. But if you feel like you've produced enough in the college ranks, pwede ka nang umalis like 1 to 2 years. It doesn't matter kasi ano naman, babalik rin yan sa atin, maybe through the national team or yung development mo, you could be a diamond in the rough one day. You have to get used to that already. Ganun talaga sa US. And the earlier that you can develop, I did the better for us, for the country. That's what I meant.
Uh, Same ako. Um, yung mindset ng players now changed a lot like in landscape. And at the end of the day, yung this is coming from someone, lalo na sa men's, I'm coaching women's eh. Iba yung sinasabi ko sa women's. You have to finish that 5 years sa women's or yung 4 years, makagraduate ka. Less opportunity sa girls eh. Pero with the men's now, grabe opportunity eh. When are you gonna get that bag? 'Di ba? Minsan hindi sa mukhang pera ka, pero at the end of the day, you go to school also to earn big money eh.
Ganun
If
eh.
that opportunity presents itself earlier, why not? Then just go back to school. Parang hindi tayo hipokrito na porket nag-Ateneo, dapat aral lang. I think it's important. It's important to study. Kasi lalo na yung kung hindi ka naman star player, bakit hindi tatapusin aral mo? Pero if you're guys like KQ, like the Abarientos, di ba? Alam nilang may kumukuha na sa akin eh. When will I earn like 8 million in 1 year? Kahit sa corporate life, hindi mo basta-basta makukuha yung ganung, ano eh. Just go back and graduate, di ba? I've said it before, academics is important, pero now sa men's nag-change yung landscape. But make sure when you go pro, talagang pang pro ka na.
Yeah.
Or else, you're gonna fall harder. Alam mo naman yan eh. I think we can identify those guys. Like KQ, pwede na yan. Motor Mike, pwede na yan, di ba? Parang, kaya sometimes, caught by surprise, ay, hindi na tinapos, tas ayaw na mag-college. So, if that opportunity presents itself, go ahead. Pwede ka bumalik sa aral. Um, just make sure you know how to handle your money, how to take care of your bag. Dun minsan na nadadali yung players eh, either here or abroad, especially sa NBA. 50 million tas na-bankrupt, di ba? So we heard a lot of stories like that.
Dami nga.
Dahil hindi rin sila well educated about how
Money.
to handle money, how to take care of this and that, taxes, whatever. So for me, it would be good for the player. And tama sinabi ni Nico, it would help the national team as well. When you play great competition, better players, when you come back here, play for the national team, sanay ka na. Sanay ka na sa international players. Di ka na mangangapa. Which shows now, Kai, you have like a couple of B-League players in the pool or have experience. So it helps a lot. It helps a lot rin na yung route to go abroad right away. I have nothing against it.
Well, now that we're talking about players going abroad, do you see other guys from the UAP and even the NCAA having a chance to, or having the potential already to move abroad to the KBL, to the B League, wherever that is? You know, aside from KQ and Motor Mike, may iba pa bang mga potential players who could be up for offers in Japan, in Korea, or somewhere else?
I heard about Clint Escamis. Parang may rumors. I'm not sure how true, but he has been playing super well. I
Yeah.
used to cover him for UE. Ang layo, ang sobra. Ngayon talagang kain na kain niya yung guard sa NC, lalo na finals. Parang kakaiba si Clint sa NC. And that shows yung talent pool sa Pilipinas. UAA, whether you look at sa UAP or NCAA, merong talent at meron na darating na talent. So nakikita ko si Clint could be, if you're looking for a guard, medyo matangkad naman si Clint eh. Hindi siya
Yeah.
yung traditional na small guard. He looks more of a two actually when he played sa UAAP. Now, legit point guard sa NC. Hindi ko, I don't know, syempre sila Francis Lopez, those guys could be a year or two. I don't know, Nico, hindi ko alam, wala akong maisip right now off the bat eh.
Yung pala actually, sina Clint Escamis, JD, maybe in the future may magkaka-interest yan. Si QMB hindi ako sigurado baka PBA because of, yun nga, di ba? Di ba may mga Asian quota, yung mga, hindi natin alam yung rules ng Asian quota sa Japan at KBL. So, nice to see QMB in the PBA. That's a
Yeah.
potential top 3 pick.
Oh.
Di ba? Si JD baka may interest nga talaga sa magkakakuha ng international interest. You don't know where. Pero pwede yun. And so far, yun pa lang naman eh. Yung na-mention rin ni Kuya Box about sino yung mga players that could potentially leave. And
Alam mo kung gusto ko nakikita in the future, si Pre
Sino?
ng
sino?
FPU.
Si
BJ
Pre?
Pre.
Oh, si
Yeah.
Pre! Solid
Yung
si
high
BJ
school pa lang,
Pre.
kala ko college yung naglalaro eh, grabe.
Oo nga eh.
Tapos pagdating sa college, ngayon pa lang pala ito nag-college, parang ganun eh. Pero it could be like that KQ Tamayo, the in between ni KQ tsaka Tamayo.
Oh, actually, tama.
Is DJ Pre. So, parang matol. Ayun yung bagong wings now eh. New generation wings. 6'4", 6'5". Could, could post up, could shoot threes. Though he was struggling sa three-pointer, pero yung confidence ng guy na yun, right now, I can see it. Tapos, playing for Sean Chambers, Triangle, malay mo in the future, Coach Tim, Triangle is here to integrate. Pero if he improves more siguro sa handles and shooting niya, I can see him playing abroad, si VJ Pre.
I agree, yeah. After the third year siguro.
Okay, now that we're about to wrap up, just para lang ma-maximize natin yung presence ni Bax dito. Bax, you do coach women's basketball with Ateneo. Talk to us now about suddenly biglang grabe yung attention na nakukuha ng women's basketball presently. Now, meron ng professional league, yung WMPBL. It's about to start. I think next year, di lang ako sure kung anong date. But grabe yung nakukuha nilang attention ngayon. And it's very good na they now have something na pwede nila ituloy yung game that they love after college.
Women's basketball now, grabe yung attention because of the skill level of the girls. Ang taas na rin. Remember, this season, San Juan of Lasal had 10 three-pointers. Ilan
Yeah.
lang nakaka-10 three-pointers sa UAP.
San
Yung isa pa
Agustin, what's her
babae.
last name?
San Juan.
San
Luisa
Juan. San Juan. Yeah, Luisa
of
San Juan.
Lasal.
Yeah.
If you watch Casey De La Rosa, MVP back-to-back. Kent Pastrana of UST. Iba yung
Wait lang,
skill.
ilang years pa si Casey sa Ateneo? 2? 1?
Two more.
2 more? Tagal pa.
Yes, two more. Tapos, you just have to watch the game kasi the skill level is so high now. Iba na yung skill level ng basketball. And then you just have to know that kasi dati yung nangyayari tambak parate. So NU has been winning 40 points sa finals. So minsan pag fan ka parang kakatamad 40. Parang manonood ka ng finals pero 40 points yung panalo 30 plus. Now, parang free for all yung alam mong sweet nila, pero alam mong may chance silang matalo. Not like one-sided parate. I think that's why it's always good to have a rivalry or a semblance of that, which is now NU and UST. Pag nakita nyo yung skill level ng mga UST players sa 3-point shooting, tatalunin pa ibang men's. Parang nakaka-10 3-pointers per game. So, it's on the rise. Para siyang, yes, years later than men's how it is played. Pero sobrang pure kaya sarap manood. I don't know how if you can picture it that way. Tapos hindi na siya as boring as before kasi you can see flashes of yung how how they do how they attack, how they shoot. Hindi na siya yung normal dribble layup. May konting flashiness na rin eh. So it's not boring. Tapos you see these girls talagang talent-wise, skill level up there with the guys also. So it's a different kind of game, mas pure, mas minsan mas magulo in a sense na ang bilis rin ng laro. Back and forth. And I think it's good that like the finals, a lot of men's basketball were watching, volleyball players were watching. So you know when those great players watch other not other sports, since women's basketball, you know something's up, diba? Something's if they support them, why can't others support them as well?
Yeah, ako I totally agree. Kasi actually, back nung when we were high school pa nga, kasi ang coaches namin nun si Coach Mike Oliver tsaka si Coach Alan Albano, sila rin naman yung coaches ng women's basketball at that time sa FU. And there were times that, especially yung mga team B players namin, pinapatune up nila sa women's. I also had a chance to go up against the women's team. They're really very good. That was the time of Riza Palmera and
Riza,
oo,
grabe si Riza.
yun sila yung batch sila. They were really hard to go up against. And tama yung sinasabi mo, Bax. Pure talaga eh. Kaya pinapapanood na sa amin nila Coach Alan sa nila Coach Mike how they run their sets eh. Kasi pinong-pino, as into the letter talaga. Hindi yung talagang magbe-breakdown agad just like sa men's na pagka may off play, wala na, ball screen na yan agad. Pero sa women's talagang tuloy-tuloy yan. And ang sarap panoorin actually.
Yeah. Dagdagan ko lang yon. Kung ano sinabi mo sa women's na tumayo ka dyan at mag-screen, tatayo dyan mag-screen, hindi yan gagalaw pag hindi mo sinabing gagalaw. So sometimes kailangan mo pa-explain more na after this, shape up, cut para makakuha. Pero pag sinabi mong gawin mo to, gagawin talaga nila. Nangikinig. Nangikinig sila na to the point, to the very detail. So when you coach women's, kailangan very detailed ka. Kasi coach, di ba sabi mo ganito, parang
Oo.
galing ka sa men's, parang ay automatic to sa guys or ay ganito nga pala yung ano. So when I started coaching sa women's, parang kailangan talaga super detailed, which is good dahil magagawa mo yung pinapagawa mo kung magaling ka mag-explain.
Yeah.
Kung
In
hindi
a
ka
Yes
sense,
magaling
ka
they're
talaga.
mag-explain,
hard.
wala.
You're
In a
gonna
sense,
get
they're
better as a
hard and
coach.
easy to coach
Yeah,
both ways.
yeah. Pagka hindi ka magaling mag-explain or tamad ka
Wala.
mag-explain, hindi magagawa ng players mo. Sure ako. Sure ako doon. Pero pag talagang to the point mo in-explain, to the point rin nilang gagawin.
Gusto ko lang dagdag rin, no, na nakalaro ko si Nikki Villasin. She was from UST. No, last year, di ba, na nag-champion na team. Nakalaro ko siya parang in an event. Tapos, meron time na down kami 9. Tapos bigla siya, meron siya sinabi sa akin na I'll turn it up. Bigla siya nagseryoso. Tapos, she made like 4 straight 3-pointers off the dribbles. Like, pucha, galing talaga ng mga UAP players sa, ano? Even women's. Teammate ko siya eh. So, hindi ko na realize na iba talaga yung skill level nila na especially when they turn it, mayroon silang mga switch din. Nakakatuwa like, just to see them play as well. And na-expose na ng maraming UAP women's games this season because yun nga yung work ko with Puso Pilipinas na we have to watch the games and ask them questions diba for interviews and nakakatawa panoorin talaga especially this year.
Yeah, it's really good that they're getting that much attention on now. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Bax, thank you so much. Please
Thank
do
you.
promote your podcast.
Ah, yes, go.
Yes,
I,
yes.
I enjoy listening to it.
Everyone,
Ako rin big fan.
please subscribe and click that button. Joke lang. Akala mo, tuloy na ano eh, no? No, back on bits. Sa Spotify, I just uploaded, I upload every Monday. I try my best to upload at 6 p.m. And then on YouTube, I post it also. Just type back on Austria, lalabas yung YouTube page ko. Medyo ano pa YouTube page ko, work in progress. Wala akong hindi yun scammer, wala talaga akong profile pic. Sinadya ko yun. Lalagyan ko siya soon.
No profile.
Letter B lang yun na blue. So ako yun. Hindi yun scammer. Kasi marami na episodes. Pero yeah, sa Spotify and YouTube. So I hope you tune in and listen.
Yon. Thank you so much, Nico. Any last thoughts?
Wala naman. It's always fun to bring in Kuya Bako. Mga nakakausap ko yan from time to time. And big fan. I think all of his episodes sa panood ko, except tong championships, which he just uploaded an hour ago.
Yeah, an
And
hour.
hindi ko pa napapanood. So sakto may papakinggan na ako later tonight and then sa trip ko when we're stuck in traffic. I keep telling Bako about that na natutuwa ako sa about the episodes. Dami natututunan na bago. So
Yeah.
yung love episode no, yung kailangan ng exclusive ano na yun yung pinaka-inaabang yung ano. I think siguro sa 15th or 20th episode mo kailangan ng pure love advice lang. Both the positives and the negative. Kailangan mo ikwento.
Sige,
Uy,
Oh,
sige.
seryoso ako dun. Hindi yung joke time.
Gawa
Seryoso
tayo
ako
ng
dun.
love episode. Magpapapoll ako ng topic mga gusto ng mga tao.
Tapos ito yung guest
yeah.
mo sa baba, si Javi. Yan yung guest mo for that ano. Sakto.
Come on, dami mo talaga. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Remember, also, we implore you to keep the subscribers going so that we can try and hit 100K subscribers before the end of the year. There's just a few days before January hits, before 2025 hits. So we hope we get 100K by then to get that silver play button. Again, thank you so much for Nico and Bakon. This has been Javi Palanya. Tune in again to Shoot First.